national intelligence. Okay, so let's start with a basic process question here, Joel. Great to have you, by the way. How does intelligence like this work its way to the president? Because the president's daily briefings are of such high importance to all Americans, but I would argue it's also one of the least understood parts that impacts all Americans.
Yeah, JD, esoteric comes to mind in terms of intelligence, and getting that information to the president is a very closely held part of how the government operates. But basically, the intelligence community and all of the agencies that comprise it, 16 different agencies, puts together on a daily basis a briefing book for the president that is then provided to him and is provided for a combination of oral and written information. And he's the only one, he's not the only one, I'm sorry, that gets it. And this is very important. His national security advisor gets it. Other principals get it, meaning the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, certainly the head of the CIA, who is part of this. And so it's the president, but it's also his senior team that gets to see what's in this briefing. And this briefing covers the gamut of issues across the world, and not just at a strategic level, but also at a tactical level. So certainly this Russia funding of Taliban terrorist activity against our soldiers would be part of that briefing.
Joel, the White House has not exactly been clear-eyed nor on the same page with itself when it comes to laying out the arguments here. The president said on Twitter, first, Intel just reported to me they did not find this info credible. Therefore, he says, I nor Mike Pence was briefed on it. But then White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany saying we're still determining the veracity of it, but the president hasn't been briefed. And then today, Kayleigh comes out to the podium and she blames leakers and she blames the media. What do you make of what appears to be some mixed messaging and kind of mixed topics when it comes to the White House trying to get information out?
Yeah, JD, the Trump administration does not want there to be clear information provided to the American people about Russia. That's just the baseline that we have to understand, that for 3 years now, this president has used the power of his office to tell the American people a falsehood about Russian behavior towards the United States in the 2016 election, and he's not clear at all about his relationship with Vladimir Putin. So they don't know how to answer. They don't know how to respond when there is pinpointed intelligence like this. And so we're seeing continual leaks, is my guess, coming from different intelligence community sources stating, hey, a set of American soldiers were targeted and assassinated by the Taliban at the behest of Russia, and the White House isn't doing anything about it. And so it's clear that they're confused in their messaging, because it's hard to get past facts, even if the president doesn't want to believe in those facts.
So based on what you know of these daily briefings, Joel, does the president only receive information that is 100% verifiable, or are there ever cases where the commander-in-chief receives information in more piecemeal fashion, or getting updates to stories that continue to develop?
So when I was in the executive branch at the State Department, I would read intelligence. You read what is out there. You read what the intelligence community believes is relevant. That doesn't mean that it's 100% all the time, without a doubt, absolutely the facts that are happening on the ground. It's the best assessment of what the intelligence community has. So a good commander-in-chief, a good policy leader would say, get me more information about this, trace it, go down that trail and find out if it's accurate, and let's get things going. Let's work on this. The idea that this wasn't perfect doesn't absolve the president and his team from actually working on the issue and figuring it out. It doesn't appear that they did that, though. It appears like they just didn't want to be involved with it. They hoped it would be buried, and now they're seeing the consequences, which is that it was buried to the point where it's now coming out, and it's embarrassing them because they never dealt with the issue.
Joel, unfortunately, I'm up against a hard out, but we're going to have you back to continue this conversation because I don't see the storyline going away anytime soon. That's Joel Rubin, president of the Washington Strategy